All right. I'd like to start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Chakodash. Welcome to the live lesson. The name of this one is The Failing Economy and Bad Times to Come. Was sent a video earlier this morning. I can't remember. I believe it might have been the Atlantis report, but there's 3 videos that I watched so far, which I'm gonna just pull up the names and the site, and just bear with me. This is from the Atlantic report. It said Fed to introduce digital dollar to prevent bank runs and have total control over money. And we've been telling you, brothers out there, sisters out there, that is the plans of the illuminated ones, the international bankers, to take control over every aspect of buying and selling, controlling, manipulating every transaction that is out there, and the reason why they're heading everything into this digital currency and everything being online is because that makes it a lot easier to transition into the mark of the beast, which is the microchip. Now, they're saying that they want to, this, I believe it's the stimulus package, this next stimulus payment, they want to do it through digital currency, and what do you think most people out there are going to do that are in a jam? They're going to go for it. And what that is doing is it's setting these people up, softening the blow for when they introduce the mark of the beast, that these people can accept it, without a fight, because the scriptures do speak about them, deceiving these people into taking this chip, the mark of the beast, and that's one of the ways that they will deceive them, is by putting them in a situation of need. The Apostle Paul spoke and he said this in 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And this is a part of the devices, the careful planning of these devils, the international bankers, as they've been busy, all of these hundreds of years, putting together, formulating this plan called the New World Order. And we're seeing now the fruits of it, The brother Amawan Gabar from the New York camp just did a short video on this movie. I can't remember the name of the movie. I always think about that movie, but I could never remember the name of it, or Parallels, or something along those lines. I meant to ask the brother what the name of that movie is. But they show you how they go into this building, the building turns, and they end up either in the future, I believe sometimes in the past, but it shows you them in the future, and they were trying to buy stuff the regular way you buy stuff with credit cards and stuff, and they couldn't do it. The guy, he went to this electronics store, tried to buy some electronics. He gave him the credit card. The guy looked at him like he was crazy. He gave him the card back, and he had to put his hand over this thing to pay. Recently, the brother Yaar Zayan from the New York camp, he's been recording like 3 different stores so far called Amazon Go, and pretty much the motto for it is just grab and go. And that's, pretty much what they show you in certain commercials, because that's the wave of the future. And what they're going to do is they're going to make it as a matter of convenience. Oh, it's so much easier this way than to handle that dirty money. It's so much easier to shop online, or to swipe your hand. Hackers can't hack it. You won't lose your credit card. You won't lose your driver's license. So it's a matter of convenience. And people, because remember, they're the deceivers. And pretty much that's how, the Lord is using these devils on the left-hand side to implement and push this mark of the beast. Because once that mark of the beast is implemented fully, then they're moving a whole lot faster. Even though they're moving fast now, they're going to be really moving lightning fast, after this mark of the beast is implemented. So we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Now, there's another video I was watching. I believe this is the one the brother sent me here, from Epic Economist, and it says movie industry collapsing, airline companies failing, retailers closing, gigantic lines at food banks. And this is what prompted the and bad times, the failing economy and bad times to come. So we're just witnessing really the beginning stages of this, of Jacob's trouble and of these hard times to come. People are not doing so good. They're laying off people left and right. As you walk about, stores that you never thought would go out of business have going out of business signs on it. When you start seeing, in most cases, stores having 70%, off, then that store is pretty much getting ready to go out of business. And this is a part of the prophecy. Before I read this precept, I'm going to read the title of the last video that I had, Las Vegas. And this is all biblical. In the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, may be found. He also said that Jake, affliction, they will seek me early. And if you know Jake, that's the only time Jake searches for the Most High. Have a walk around with a big old Bible, is when they are in a jam, some kind of legal jam, health-wise or anything of that nature. That's when they want to draw nigh to the Most High. And that's why I said in their afflictions, they will seek me early. So all of this that's happening with the economy is leading to these hard times that are to come, and that's what we're looking forward to, so that when all that happens, the Lord will protect us and deliver us, from this danger that's coming. And the sooner it happens, the better, because once the prophecies are fulfilled, then comes the ultimate, which is deliverance, And Yahushua spoke of all these things 2,000 years ago, when he said, when you see all these things happening, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. So it goes on to read in Ecclesiastes 12:2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. That's twofold, dealing with the signs in the heavens, but it's also dealing with the rulerships of the world and these governments. They're not going to have answers to give these people as to why these things are happening, because they're not going to know. And it's going to get to the point where it's going to be out of the hands of the so-called elite. because they're manipulating things behind the scene. But what they don't understand is the one pulling the strings is Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You know, they're just puppets, you know, that are being used and manipulated and moved by the Most High. He's the one moving the chess pieces on the chessboard. The chessboard being the world. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. So who are the keepers of the house? Well, the keepers of the house would be your stockholders, or more so the ones that watch and trade stocks for individuals, because you have people that invest money in the stocks, and you have those that take that money and invest it in different companies. They buy a certain amount of stock in each company, you know, and what that does, it nets the person investing the capital money, you know, because it's an investment, and they get a kickback on their investment, because if the individual that's working for them makes the right investment, then they make money. And the goal of investing money is to make money. So they invest the capital to make more money. So the keepers of the house trembling, meaning that they're going to see that it's going to be dark, because it's not going to be flourishing like they hoped, because it's really being manipulated, you know, behind the scenes, you know, by the international bankers, which is really the Most High pulling those strings. And this is what these people are not prepared for. So it says, and the strong men shall bow themselves. Why are the strong men going to bow themselves? Because wealth is strength in this society. You know, money is a defense, and money answereth all things. But seeing that on Wall Street, most of everything is traded, you know, via a computer, via keyboard entrances, that the person never really has liquid, you know, in their hands. You know, they never really have that money in their hands. So if the stock market takes a turn for the worse and collapses, they lose all of that money they invested. This is why, going back to 1929, just before the Great Depression, Joe Kennedy, which was the patriarch of the Kennedys, you know, he was told of the situation and what was going to happen, and he told his friends to take the money out and invest in gold. And the ones that did, which they all did, they turned out all right. But everybody else lost. They lost everything. They lost all their savings because they had everything invested in there. So that's why you had a lot of suicides. You know, people wanted to kill themselves because, you know, they didn't have, you know, two pennies to rub against each other, because they lost everything, you know, during that time. And that's what's happening right now. So the strong men are going to bow themselves because they're going to lose their substance. See, what you're going to understand about these international bankers is that they don't give a damn about anybody else but themselves. And even among themselves, they have infightings. But for the most part, you know, the ones that are up in that realm, you know, talk about trillionaires, you know, and up. You know, they'll work with each other, you know, but the average Joe Blow, beloved man, you know, millionaire, you know, so-called billionaire, they don't really care too much for. So they'll stiff them out of whatever little they have so they can fill their pockets with it. And that's why the rich really get rich off of who? Off of the poor, you know? So it says, and the grinders cease because they are few. So what are the grinders? The grinders are a representation of these jobs and the job market, which is not doing too good because these devils go by stats. Now the stats now that they're taking on the employment or unemployment is based off of the new people that are applying for unemployment. They're not taking into account the ones that stop looking for work, that don't have work. They're just doing the new stuff, because if they would really take into account everyone that's unemployed, the numbers would look a lot worse, you know, and that would not be a good look, because they're still trying to keep a stiff upper lip while they're sticking it to these people, you know, until they achieve their goals. So it says, and the grinders cease because they are few. And that's why we read in these reports, you know, that, you know, the airlines are laying a whole bunch of people off. The second largest movie theater is suspending their dealings or business in America. Why? Because, you know, business is not doing so good. You know, they're not doing well as they used to. So they had to suspend the business here in order for them to save money. And a lot of these businesses that had offices that made money for those that were renting these spaces out are leaning more into having people work from home, because it's less of a hassle. There's less overhead, less money that they have to pay, you know, less money that they have to pay to operate their business, which is more money that goes into their pocket, you see? So it says, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. And the ones that look out the windows will represent those ones that trade in stocks, you know, that keep track of how these stocks are doing, you know, how much money each stock is making, what's the percentage of growth in comparison to the money or the capital that was invested. So they're going to be, you know, darkened because, you know, the economy isn't doing as well as they hoped. But even dealing with that whole situation economically, that's pretty much the Most High, you know, using these devils, the international bankers, to shut things down, because you know, it's time for this place to go. The scriptures speak about we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. You know, it says forsake her, because at one time everybody was coming here to this place because it was known as a golden city. But now that the golden city is ceasing, people are returning back to their countries. You know, the Lord said he had broken the scepter of the rulers. So pretty much this devil is pretty much leaning on a broken staff, you know, and he's trying every way that he can to hold on, but it keeps sticking him, it keeps jabbing him, his hands keep getting cut up, and it gets harder and harder for him to hold on to that scepter. You know, the blood is gushing out, you know, and it's getting all over the staff, and every time he tries to grab the staff by the side so that it won't poke him, he keeps slipping because of the blood. Well, that's what's happening right now. Esau is on a slippery slope, and King David spoke about that. He said the Lord has set him in slippery places. Why? Because their rulership is lent to them and it's temporary, you know, and they're not going to make it past the allotted date that the Most High set for them, Job 14:5. You know, where it says that the Lord has appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So there's a time set for this devil to fall. And what we're witnessing is the imminent collapse of this place. That's why it's called the failing economy and hard times to come. You know, so they won't be able to hold on 1 second more to their rulership, because once the cutoff date comes, it's over. And that's why the scriptures say that the devil has come down having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So they're scrambling right now. We're reading in the multitude of their councils, trying to get things popping, trying to get things going, to get this new world order pumping, so that they can sit back and enjoy the fruits of their wicked labor. You know? But they're only going to enjoy it so much, because once it goes to a certain point, then the Lord is going to shut them down, you know, like this Public Enemy song, shut them down, you know. So let's go back to Ecclesiastes 12:4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. So when the sound of the grinding is low, there's no work. If there's no work, people can't get paid. If people can't get paid, people can't pay their bills. If people can't pay their bills, people can't go out buying and spending. If they can't go out buying and spending, then the economy ceases. It stops. Because the economy is contingent upon the spending of the people. You know, them spending their hard-earned money to buy these manufactured goods, you know, to keep, you know, the economy afloat, you know. And what we're witnessing right now is pretty much the failing economy that is going to lead into these hard times that are coming. And it's going to be bad, man. It's going to be really bad. And that's where desperation is going to take place. That's where, you know, the nicety of people, you know, and the nice way that you know they would greet their neighbor, is going to go out the door. Scriptures say that the love of many shall wax cold. Why? Because iniquity shall abound. And look at how much iniquity has abounded. Because you have sin, you have transgression, but then you have iniquity, which is compounded sin. Sin on top of sin, on top of sin, on top of sin, on top of sin. And that's why these hard times are coming, because this marks the end of this devil's kingdom. And, you know, and they're about to lose everything because it is prophesied. So let's read that again. And the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah. So they're gonna rise up in the morning to their alarm clock to go to work, but they're not gonna have any work to go to, because these jobs are shutting down. You know? And they took out a whole lot of stuff, and this Corn Julio has been their golden goose that they used to achieve what seemed to be nearly impossible by every other means that they've tried. You know, it's given them the exact crisis that they needed to be able to implement, you know, their new world order. And you see everything moving in that direction. So any Israelite group out there that is teaching that the mark of the beast is anything else than the microchip, then they're either two things: either they sold out, or they're not on the same wavelength with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know, because a blind person can see that the RFID microchip is the mark of the beast. You know, and it's blatant. And the scriptures prophesy that no one shall be able to buy or sell, save he that had the mark of the number of beast or the number of his name. You know, and when they make everything digital and push that mark of the beast and implement it, no one's going to be able to actually buy or sell, conduct any type of business, because everything is going to be on lock. They're going to lock the economy down through these digital transactions that are going to take place, which is why every so many years they implement a new generation, you know, like you had the 1G, the 2G. We're currently in the 4G, crossing into the 5G, which is the fifth generation. The fifth generation of the technology that's going to help make everything work in unison, hence your new world order, you know, for this marketed beast, which is an RFID microchip, you know, and no one's going to be able to buy or sell. You see some of those futuristic movies and you see the people in society, and then you see the people underground, you know, underneath the city, so to speak, that don't comply and can't function in the so-called new normal world, which is what's coming. In that movie, I forget the name of it, they show you how the one guy put his hand to pay for his goods, and the other guy tried to get something to eat. He put his hand, you know, but he wasn't in the system. There was a big red X that came up. So he wasn't even in the system. So what happened? He wasn't able to eat. So this is more proof, you know, that these things that the scriptures spoke about are true, and that the Lord gave us the right understanding on the mark of the beast being the microchip, you know. So this has been the failing economy and hard times to come. You know, this is going to be probably one of the worst holiday seasons in a long, long time. And I'm happy about that because, you know, every year when the stupid ass holidays come to you know, to pass, you know, your Thanksgivings and your Halloweens and your Christmas, everybody's all cheerful, you know, but this one is going to be bad because people are not going to have any money, you know, to be able to buy what they normally buy, you know, to be able to get their provisions to make these different extravagant dinners that they're used to, you know. So the Lord is causing the mirth to cease, you know, and he's shutting everything down economically, because that's one of the main ways outside of the military that a country operates, is by their economy. And if their economy fails, guess what? They fail. Because if their economy fails, they can't pay the military to protect their borders and protect their interests and protect their resources. So that economy is very important in being able to keep up a society. So we're witnessing the collapse of this devil's economy, which is the beginning stages of them completely falling, you know. And eventually, once all these prophecies are fulfilled, the last prophecy would be Yahushua and the angels at the same time as the missiles coming to America to destroy this place, and the lasers from the chariots tearing this place up and delivering the elect. You know, so with that, I pray that your brothers have been edified, and to the next time, I say Shalom.